Hi guys, I hope you're having a great time at Blog Her. Thank you, Whitney and Brooklyn, for an amazing panel. I am beyond excited and grateful to be here, but mainly to be introducing and sitting down with the one and only Marie Forleo. For those of you who are not familiar with Marie, she is the quintessential entrepreneur. Marie has been coined by Oprah as a thought leader for the future generations. She is on Inc.'s fastest growing companies, and her main mission is to allow you to build a life and career that you love, using your gifts to change the world. She not only has Marie TV with 37 million YouTube views, viewed in 197 countries. She has founded the B School, an online business school to allow you to be a modern entrepreneur and be on business school online. With that, on top of all of those accomplishments, has changed your life, changed the world. For every product purchase goes back to helping a person in need. So with that, welcome, Marie. Hi, guys. Welcome.
Thank you.
We are thrilled to have you. You are literally the quintessential entrepreneur. And I think the million-dollar question that everybody wants to know is, you grew up in Jersey. You started on the New York Stock Exchange. You have been a dancer for Nike. You have been a bartender. How did you get here?
Oh, goodness gracious. So many stumbles and falls and so many pain points. You know, you talked about being on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, which is not that far away from here. I don't know how many of you guys in the audience can relate to this, but you find yourself in a job or you're doing something, and this little part of you says, this is not my path. This is not where I should be, right? And so I had that little voice speaking up in me, but I got really frustrated because that little voice didn't tell me what I was supposed to do instead. It's just like, this isn't it. And I'm like, oh no. So I went on a bit of an odyssey because the only things that I knew about myself, my only clues, were that I loved business and I loved creativity. So my dad was a small business owner. When I was a little girl, I wanted to be like 17 things. When someone asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? It was like, how much time do you have? Because it's a very long list. So, you know, from being a fashion designer to an animator for Disney, to an artist, to a dancer, to a teacher, all those things. And so after I left Wall Street, I was just like, I have to try something. I have to try something else. And I went to the world of magazine publishing because I felt like there was this creative side and also the commerce side. And so I was at Gourmet magazine in the ad sales department, and I was really happy because I'm a girl who loves to eat. I love food. My desk was right near the test kitchen, so the editors would bring me snacks. I was like, this is the best thing ever. But within about 6 months, I had that little voice inside of me saying, again, this is not where you're supposed to be. And I started to panic. And I tried to take a more objective look at my path. So I looked ahead at the publisher of the magazine. She was a really strong and powerful woman. I admired her, but no part of me wanted to become her. I didn't want to climb that corporate ladder and do her job. And so that was a clue. Well, if I don't want to become her someday, why am I wasting their time and mine? So I said, okay, well, maybe I'm still a little bit too much on this business side. Maybe I need to really cultivate my creative side because I had left that behind a little bit. So I finagled a job over at Mademoiselle magazine in the fashion department. And so I was like, okay, this has got to be it, right? I'm working with designers, going to fashion shows. It's like so creative. We're helping to get these great ideas and these new images out into the world. And it was fine for a little bit, but then that voice came back. And at this point, I'm feeling like the biggest loser because I, on the surface, had all of these jobs that were almost like dream jobs. And all I wanted to do was quit. All I wanted to do was quit. So after a few years of continuing to stumble and fall and watch all of my friends at that time building careers, you know, building families, building homes, and I just felt like I was drowning, there was one day I was on the internet at work when I probably shouldn't have been, and I stumbled upon this new career at the time. You guys got to remember, this is 1999. 1999. It was about a new career called coaching. And even though the logical part of my brain was like, you are 23 years old, who the hell in their right mind is going to hire a 23-year-old life coach? You are fucking nuts. There was a part of my heart and my soul that was like, do you guys know that moment when it's like, ah, when the clouds part and the little trumpet sound and some part of you lights up because there's a soul recognition there? I'd never had that feeling before. So despite all of the self-barrage that was going on in my head, I figured out a way to sign up for a 3-year coaching program. I started doing my coaching studies at night, worked on Mademoiselle during the day, and then about 6 months later, I got a call from HR. Vogue magazine, top fashion magazine in the world, had a promotion for me. More money, more prestige, steady paycheck, all that good stuff. But that was my proverbial fork in the road of like, am I gonna do this weird coaching thing which no one has ever heard of? I'm 23, I feel like a loser, I clearly don't have my life together, I'm in debt after college, or am I gonna do the responsible thing, go take that job at Vogue, keep the steady paycheck and the health benefits and like all that stuff? And so, of course, I chose to quit and then figure out how to build a life coaching business. I was terrified, like terrified. I had no clue what I was doing, but the only thing that allowed me to do that was this deep belief that I run my entire life by, which is that everything is figure-outable. And I had hit the wall so many times, so much pain, so much feeling like a loser, so much feeling like a misfit, that I was like, I have to at least try this because everything else that I've tried before didn't work. So that was almost, 20 years ago at this point, and so that's the short version of the beginning of how I got to where I am today.
Well, thank God you listened to your soul's purpose. Thank God you took that chance. Thank God for us, so we can be guided by your talent, your skill, and your intuition to help us tap into our own intuition. Because without it, your business has no heart, and it won't go as far as you can go.
That's right.
That's incredibly inspiring and also really scary when there is a responsible route and you went with your gut and everything's figure-outable.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I just want to make this point really clear as well. I didn't like start this business and then all of a sudden it took off. I had side jobs for 7 years. Bartending, waiting tables. I actually had a simul career in health and fitness, so you guys might walk into a Target or a Walmart and still see my cheesy ass on a cover of a fitness workout CBT going like, dance off the inches, dance them off. So that's a whole other piece. But my point is that it wasn't fast. It wasn't fast. And I had never had dreams of having the type of business that I would go and get funding. I'm built a little uniquely in the fact that I love control. And I had been in so many situations where other people were telling me what to do or how things should be, and I was like, whatever. I know exactly what my vision is. I know exactly how I want to bring it to life, and I want to own this thing, all of me. So if I have to just flex my patience muscles and take this slowly, which I did, I wanted to say this because I hear many people sometimes giving up. They're like, wow, I've been out this for 3 months and nothing's happening. I'm like, are you shitting me? Like, for reals? And then even some people are like, Maria, I've been at it for 4 years. I'm like, good, keep going, dig in. If it's the thing that you believe in, right? If it's the thing that makes your heart come alive, if there's this vision or this purpose behind what you're doing that is greater than yourself and it's not just about the cash, and by the way, I love cash. I love cash. But there's this way to blend it. If you believe in it, keep it going. If you have to have those side gigs, if you have to keep eating the mac and cheese like I did, I still do. But you know what I mean? Like that's kind of the main staple for a little bit because that's what you have to do to keep your thing going. Do it. Patience is one of the most underrated skills for entrepreneurs, and I think because we live in this time and era with these things, these instant gratification fuck machines, I hate these sometimes. I will tell you, we'll talk about these, but they're training us to get away from some of the timeless principles that we need to have an amazing, fulfilling life. Make sense?
Yes. I think everyone just flies high off your juice. Everyone's ready to just leave and conquer the world.
Yeah.
But yes, you've built this incredible empire. It's taken you time, grit, years, and tough decisions. You have a huge charitable component. Was that something you set out from the start to have?
So I always knew that I wanted my business to be about more, first of all, than just me. As much as I love cute things, I'm not a really materialistic person. I don't like big homes, like I have tiny homes. I don't really care about a bunch of stuff. I knew I wanted to make a lot of money so that I could help people.
Yeah.
That was my thing. I wanted to help my employees. I wanted to be able to channel resources to different things that piss me off about the world. I wanted to be able to take that money or take that influence or to take that bit and say, hey, let's do something good together. So I didn't have the funds to do it at first. So that, it's like I knew that's where I wanted to go. I just didn't quite know how it was going to come to life.
Right, it's chicken or the egg, but
Yeah.
you knew it was always going to be there.
Yes.
And that's B School. When you sign up for B School, you share profit it's change your life. So when you invest in yourself, Marie invests back in the world to those that have need. So it's a continuous circle of bettering yourself and
Yes.
bettering the world.
Yeah, because I think, one of the things I've noticed about my audience, it's most of the folks that I reach have a similar value system to me in the sense that, yeah, they want to have money and security, they want to take care of their family, but they also give a shit. They
Yeah.
give a shit about creating change, and they too want to create change in their communities, to their families, different parts of the world that are in desperate need of it.
Yep.
And I think that especially women have this trait in them, and I want to help make that come to life. I want to show women not only by what we do in our company, but what they can do in their own companies, that you don't have to be a bajillionaire to make
Yep.
huge change.
Success is not success unless it's shared.
Yeah.
So that's great. For the creators, the bloggers, and the entrepreneurs in this room, what are those core elements to help them find that happiness and meaning in their work?
I think that you have to be really honest with yourself about who you are and what you want to share with the world and not hold it back. We're living in such a time where it's really easy to start kind of squashing your voice and getting smaller because you want everyone to like you, you want everyone to approve of you. And one of the things I hear most often about why people appreciate Marie TV is because of what an idiot I am on it all the time and how goofy we are. Did you guys see Jersey Marie's episode yesterday? Yes. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but it's like letting the full you come to the table is an incredible, miraculous gift in your business. It's a gift not only for your audience or your customers because they feel a sense of trust with you because you're being real, you're not hiding parts of yourself, but I will tell you this, and this is the most underrated secret, it's actually a gift for your team. So I have the most, Team Forleo is like, I love them. I will die for them. They are incredible because they get to bring their full selves to work. And when you get to bring your full self to work and you're not compartmentalizing like, oh, this is me in work mode. And though, oh, I'm like crazy and fun at home, but then I'm like really stiff and boring over here. Life should not be compartmentalized like that. It's like every single person in this audience, each one of you has such brilliant, unique gifts, right? There's only one of you. There never has been and there never will be another you. And if you don't express the fullness of your gift for this very short time that you're on this planet, the world will have lost something truly irreplaceable, which is you. So by you holding any part of yourself back, and I believe this with every fiber of my being, you are stealing from those who need you most. You are stealing from your customers. You're stealing from your team, from your kids, from your spouse who wants the real you, the full you, the multifaceted, crazy one, calm one, woo! Like the whole range of you. We have to stop narrowing ourselves down to like this one version and embrace our multi-passionate nature, because how many in here, if you're familiar with my work, know the term multi-passionate entrepreneur? There's a lot of us, and what that really means is you're not just one thing. You don't just have one gift. You're not just one type of person or one type of entrepreneur. There's many of you. And the more that you give yourself permission to express the multifaceted nature of who you are, the more unique your brand is, the more alive you come, and the more happiness and fulfillment you feel over time.
That's great. Everyone in this room has so many different talents, and they're creative, and they're bursting at the seams of what to do. And everybody gets stuck. Life gets sticky.
Yes.
And when you're that creative, especially creatives, what's your advice when you get stuck?
So one of the principles I live my life by is clarity comes from engagement, not thought. Clarity comes from engagement, not thought. So it's really easy for all of us, right? We kind of live in a culture that encourages us to live from the neck up. Constantly thinking, constantly evaluating. Should I do this? Should I do that? We talk to ourselves about ideas. Maybe we talk to friends about our ideas. But I think you have to develop a bias for action. You have to train yourself to engage, to experiment. What does that look like? Going to take a class, making the phone call, interviewing someone, doing an internship, just doing whatever you can to get in action so that the real world feedback informs whether or not you should move ahead. So the body, our physical bodies, have so much wisdom and insight that we don't tap into because we're living from the head up, and every free moment we're on this addiction box, right? So there's all of this wisdom inside you. So clarity comes from engagement, not thought, is not only just about taking some action, but I actually think for more people, get your ass in a spin class, go dance, go for a run, do something physical to activate the channels inside of you that hold wisdom that is so much better than anything, quite frankly, you'll hear on Marie TV, anything better on a podcast, and far better than anything you will see scrolling in your feeds. You have within you a well of so much wisdom to guide your life, but you have to tap into it. You have to push back against society and where it's wanting you to go, which is into these fucking boxes and screens. That's not where your life is. It's not.
I mean, it's brilliant. Get moving, stop thinking, move it, move it, move it.
Yes.
It's absolutely brilliant.
And then if all else fails, go have like an Aperol Spritz or a tequila and everything starts to
Consistency, blessing or a curse?
Oh my goodness, okay. Consistency is everything. Consistency is everything. So remember when I was telling you guys, like, okay, so OG, starting life coaching like 1999, 2000. So I started my weekly email newsletter back in 2000. Like, that's crazy to me. But if y'all don't hear from me on a Tuesday, you can be like, that bitch is dead. Like, I loved her, she was real cute, but she's probably dead. Because of consistency. Now, I will say, the next 2 weeks, our company is off, so you might not hear from me, but that's scheduled. But my point is, do you know what I mean? We could talk about that, though, but for 18 years, it's like, y'all know where I am, and you know every single week there's gonna be something coming out for you. So in terms of consistency, I think, like patience, it's one of the most underrated traits and qualities, and here's the thing. You don't have to be born with some like magic consistency gene. You can develop that. That is a mental strength and a habit and a practice that every single person in this room can develop. The more people can depend on you, that you show up no matter what, whether this looks like content creation, whether this looks like your family, your team, that level of trust has such an exponentially positive effect, more than you could ever imagine. And again, this is nothing that people teach us in school. It's nothing that, oh my God, what about, IGTV and what's happening with YouTube? It's like, fuck that shit. Consistency. It's free. It's free. You don't need technology. You just need you.
It's in you. Just use
Yes.
it, move it, and do it.
Sorry, you guys. I feel like there's gonna be a revival.
I know. We're all flying out of here after this.
In a second.
We have some questions from the audience that have
Yes.
been dying to pick your brain on specific topics. One question from Tammy Tibbetts, which is about audience engagement. As a CEO, how much time should you spend with your audience, and how do you do it effectively?
I think that that's probably contextual, right? Depending on what your company is, how it operates. I think, though, generally, broadly speaking, to be in touch with your audience as much as possible is a really good thing. Right now, I'm working on a book, and I have to have my head down, but my team has something we call letters from the community. Every single week I have emails from all over, from comments, from stuff people write in, to stay in touch with people, and obviously events like this. I hear it says, please wrap up. I think that's for us. So sorry, I talk a lot, so I'm gonna try and keep it tight. But in terms of CEOs, as much time as you can with your audience, with your customers. Don't make yourself crazy because you got a company to run too, but prioritize it.
I've got one last really good question I think everybody's marinating on. I want to speak my truth. I want to use my voice. I don't know how to start.
Okay, that's bullshit, number one. You absolutely do. Ain't nobody in here got talker's block. I've been hearing you guys, I've been listening to you guys. You know how to talk. The best way to start is to start. Start before you're ready. If you have something to say, if you have an opinion about, put it out there. Whether it's over the kitchen table to your girlfriends, your family, if it's on social media, if it's to your audience, do it. There are people out there that don't like you right now. They're never gonna like you. They are always judging you. That is reality. Who gives a shit? Do not die with letting what you really believe stay silent in you. So the way to start is to just start. Don't think, go.
That's amazing. I'm going to wrap it up, but I
Yes.
think the two things, everything's figure-outable.
Yes.
And clarity comes from engagement.
Not thought.
All right.
You guys, thank you so much.
That's amazing. Thank you, guys.